Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. We're talking Nicholls State Colonels and the kind of summer of reunion. Off to a great start. We're going to 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about this football team. No, they played pretty good. We got Coach Don Rodrigue and Shane Kliebert are here talking about it. But we were talking about, so Larry Wilson's going to be next Saturday, and that's going to be at Stover Gymnasium. That's a big reminder of one of the greatest players that ever played here. But there's some pretty good football teams that you're going to do throughout the year here, Shane.
Yes, sir. So we're going to start on October 25th with Nicholls versus McNeese. We have the 2005 Colonels coming in. If you remember that squad led by Yale Vanoy at quarterback, another Hall of Famer, and Rodrigue Cole taking the ball from him. And you had a hell of a cast up front for him with Cody Stogner, who was an All-American center, Gambasi, guard, and then Jacob Bender, who played in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And then on defense, linebacker Corey Vavala. You talk about a Henry Johnson at cornerback. Defensive end, Brian Powell 20 years ago. These guys will come in. We start with a tailgate. Of course, we'll have the new Colonel Walk, which goes through Tailgate Village, so they'll be able to take part in that. And then we'll do the chalk talk with Coach. And then, of course, we'll bring him on the field and honor him. And then November 15th, we have the 1975 football team. We're talking 75 basketball a minute ago, but in that same year, you had that 75 football team that won a conference championship.
Right? Was he on that team?
Gary Barbaro.
Gary
Strapola. Rusty Rebo.
No, not Brian Strapola. His brother was the first 1,000-yard rusher in Nicholls history.
Sure.
Yes.
And look, that's a special group. They come through every year, the Clemens Colonels, and they always have a big group that they pick a game and they come in. So, I mean, this one will be even more meaningful for them, being 50 years. And I know it'll be special. We've got a jersey for them that we lined up. If they want a commemorative jersey, we're going to retake that picture. One of the things about that is maybe you're not wearing the same jersey you wore 50 years ago, or maybe not the same size, but we'll get a picture.
We used to wear them a little looser.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe a little looser.
But Dan also down the Bayou.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right. So
you got a patch on the stadium for that 75 team.
So they'll come out there on the circle there, the Manning Field, and we'll make sure everybody knows who they are. And that's one thing about this is honoring the legacy of these players and teams and making sure nobody forgets who they are.
Yeah, and then you got basketball again in the 94-95 season. That'll be later on, and then the basketball team 75 to 76 on December the 17th for that one.
Yeah, so talking, going back to 75 here, I see on look at these guys. We'll redo this photo from the 75 team going on 50 years. They don't want to hear it's 50 years, but it is. And, most of those guys still look like they can play a little bit. But November, when you talk about those 05 Colonels, that was the first championship since the 80s, and they brought that back under Coach Thomas and the foundation that was laid under Darryl Day. And you think about that time period, you went from a quarterback, a Hall of Fame guy, and Josh Sun, and then you had on that same roster was another Hall of Fame quarterback in Yale Vanoy. And I mean, what a load to try to tackle that guy in the option, 6'3", 225 pounds. Running that triple option. So it was a quite a few years of a foundation being built there, a lot being built with that team. And when you look at all of these championship teams, we say it all the time. I mean, it's a special team. There's always something special about those guys who get it all together. And some years you look at it and you say, man, that should have been a championship team. But they're able to get it together at the right times and the right games. So just one of those special teams, special to me. But
it's been big around Nicholls recently, right? I mean, we kind of went through a wasteland there for a little while.
Yes.
I don't know where it was, but but all sports, and it's been great around here, man. So got it going right.
It's outstanding, and to see every year we bring in teams in 2 and 3 at a time. I mean, it's special, and hey, hopefully that's a signal for something this year. Yeah. Being that we are 2025, or maybe it's time for this team.
The ability to change coaches, keep rolling, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And look, well, let's talk about this team a little bit. And that performance the other day was unbelievable. Coach, how about a defense that flies around like that? It's 100 degrees, and we were talking, there might have been 12, 15 guys on the field, it looked like, because they flew around.
I watch them practice quite often. And sometimes I'm looking and I know what defense they're calling and everything. And sometimes it looks like they have 12 guys on the field. And they're so well coached with Coach Monroe as the defensive coordinator that they get to where they have to go Whoever's got the ball, they just go to pat him on the back or whatever, and nobody goes to the ground. And that's a sign of a good football team.
Yeah.
That nobody ends up on the ground.
And what like 85% of rosters Louisiana kids
Yes.
too, you know?
And it's been that way for the last 10, 11 years when Coach Rebo came in, and that's the same blueprint that you see with a Darrell Day team. Is the same blueprint you saw with a Jay Thomas, and then going back to Sonny, and then going back to Kliebert. So that blueprint's been there, and that's when the Colonels, that's when they come through and play ball. And you talk about, I mean, just relentless, that defense, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But what a good way to get people to come back.
Yes.
Reunions are a great way, but also like, hey, come here. We're going to remember you. We're going to honor you. This is where you want to play. You don't have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I love to see it throughout different sports, you know, so we're not just talking about football, we're talking about basketball.
Right.
And when you look at the programs across the board, 17 sports, every coach is building toward a championship caliber program.
We had a young man show up this week. His name was Hilton Koch from St. Bernard High School. There's no more St. Bernard.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He plays for us. He falls in love with the team. The team falls in love. He was so much of a getter. He ends up in Houston. He's the mattress guy. He was he was on Cohen, and he was owner of the women's WNBA team.
Right.
And he came to the game with his son and
that's
stood
awesome.
in the end zone with him. It was a
The
great
mattress
day.
guy was here. Well, thank you guys. Which ties it all back to Larry Wilson, which will be on the 6th. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
This was good.
Oh, yeah.